got a bomb threat here in Austin, Texas, at the University of Texas, the largest university in the world, arguably. And there's also a bomb threat taking place at North Dakota campus. A Middle Eastern man or someone with that voice, "Hello, this is Habib. I'm going to bomb you in 90 minutes. I have been dressed as mailman. There are bombs in the what do you call it, where you put the mail, the little boxes. I'm going to get you." And everyone runs screaming in fear. I got to the office and it was just like, the bombs. A few people were walking around excitedly, and that's fine. I understand. You know, the media is hyping it like it's the end of the world. And at first I'm like, well, maybe somebody had a test coming up today because it is Friday and they were a little nervous. Some graduate student, schizophrenic, wanted to become a psychologist or psychiatrist or something. But then I noticed the whole North Dakota thing, and this fits in with all the hysteria in the Middle East and this movie Putting Down Muhammad. So the Muslims go crazy if somebody puts down the Prophet Muhammad, their Prophet Muhammad, and burn everything down over in the Middle East or kill each other. And over here, though, if you have a bomb threat, we all run off the edge of a cliff in fear from it. I'll tell you, there's a real evacuation going on in Guatemala. Big volcano by a major city is erupting outside tourist center. They've ordered 33,000 people evacuated. The officials have, not the public servants, the officials. That's the new upper class worldwide, is the government bureaucrat class, where, hey, you may not be skilled at anything or be talented, but you can have some authority over somebody. But that's the kind of thing you do want to evacuate from. But what do they say? The wicked flee when none pursue. The wicked flee when none pursue. Now, obviously, we're going to have reporters because we're here in Austin. We've got Melissa Melton and John Bound down there shooting video and interviewing people. Coming up in about 20 minutes, we'll talk about the bomb threat because the guy said, an hour ago, that in 90 minutes he was going to blow everything up. So we'll find out, I guess, here in the next 30 minutes if bombs are going to go off everywhere. I'll tell you what's going off, though. GMO corn, GMO soybeans that are sterilizing you and are linked to massive organ failure and cancer in all the mammal studies. They won't allow human studies. There is a new special report out right now dealing with the new wheat coming out that top scientists are saying could cause organ failure and other things. So all of that is going on. Also, drudgereport.com is linked to our report from last night about TSA gropers are now not just at the Paul Ryan events, but now at the Mitt Romney events. And I want to find out, because it doesn't explain, are they inserting themselves like the Secret Service? Did the Secret Service call them in? Or did Mitt Romney ask for them? Because let me tell you something. I've never been a one-issue person, but I hate the TSA and this takeover so much. And I understand it's the key of the takeover, the total federalization, globalization, that I would almost vote for somebody just if they'd not have the TSA try to grope my family and stuff. But their answer will be, don't worry, wear a tracker chip, which they're now coming out with, where you wear a bracelet or a taser thing. They're just taking over all of the infrastructure and travel. So it's a big issue. We're in tyranny. And so, yeah, Al-Qaeda threat, when you scroll up there to the top of Drudge, he's got it all up in red there about the Al-Qaeda threat now, basically shutting everything down. If you'll go back to the top page there of Drudge, we'll show people that top headline there. Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for truth seekers. We've carried a lot of amazing films and books over the years on the online video bookstore at Infowars.com. And out of all the titles we've carried, one stands out because it is just so chillingly convincing. And that's Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert, available at Infowars.com. This film exposes the fraud that Obama is like nothing I've seen. If you want to know who Obama's real daddy is, this is the film for you. Don't forget, your purchase supports our broadcast and our growing media network. You'll also find at InfoWarsShop.com, None Dare Call It Conspiracy by Gary Allen, the book that woke me up. We're also carrying Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21 by Rosa Corey. This book is coffin nails to the globalist takeover. The Greater Good, the most professional and up-to-date film I've ever seen exposing the scourge that is vaccines. These titles and a lot more are all available at InfoWarsShop.com. And thank you for joining us. There is so much to cover today. Obviously, the big headlines out there are Al-Qaeda threat shuts down University of Texas and also the University of North Dakota campuses. UT is probably a third of the city of Austin. It's the biggest campus and has the most students, roughly, they argue the point, of any campus in the world. We have our reporters, Melissa Melton and John Bound, on the ground down there. We're going to be going to them in a few minutes. I got to the office at about 10 a.m., and the news had just broken minutes earlier all over the local news as if the end of the world was occurring because someone called up and said, I am going to put bombs in your mailboxes and get you prepared. I will kill you. I mean, basically, like that puppet that's on TV, the dead terrorist or whatever his name is, and the wicked flee when none pursue. You would think it's the end of the world. I mean, that's all anybody's talking about in Austin is the fact that they said in 90 minutes after the call that the bombs are going to go off. So that's in about 20 minutes from now. 20 minutes from now, the University of Texas, according to this phone call, is going to have bombs go off. What do you want to bet no bombs go off? And if the feds are behind this, they might have a firecracker or something. I mean, this is just amazing to see the hysteria and how we can be manipulated. Hey, if somebody puts out a YouTube video, the corporate media hypes it, showing Muhammad, you know, ripping a woman apart with a horse or something, and the Middle East goes up in flames, and U.S. ambassadors get killed, and all the precious little Al-Qaeda jihadis they've delivered into Libya and Syria turn on their globalist masters. I mean, this is ridiculous. So somebody talks about Muhammad, and some of the Muslims go crazy, and then here in America, you get a bomb threat. It isn't like this in other parts of the world, folks, where you just have this total culture of fear. I see cases all the time where, well, you see it in the news, where somebody, even in rural areas, will walk out with their rifle to stick it in their truck or their car to go to the shooting range or go hunting. And, oh, the police are shutting down the part of the city and looking for a man with a gun. And then you'll hear the report. Yeah, I saw him. He was putting a rifle in his car. And, oh, my gosh. And, in fact, just a few weeks ago, they shut down part of UT because somebody on the edge of campus was seen putting a rifle in a car. Yeah, it's Texas. There's rifles all over the place. I mean, I'm in here right now at the office putting night vision and stuff for the next episode of Brothers in Arms, our gun show, you know, to go out and test night vision and stuff with sponsors. I mean, what? If I walk in the office park with a rifle, are we going to just shut half the city down and run around in fear? Now, two things could be going on. This could be a prank, or it could be some angry, disgruntled Muslim who's mad that somebody exercised their free speech to get them all stirred up as a political October surprise for Obama as all of this gets out of control. Or it could blow up in Obama's face if he doesn't handle it right, and it could hand it to Mitt Romney, but it doesn't matter. I mean, the guys basically, there's like 1 degree of separation in their real policies. They look different, but they got basically the same elite financing them and some of the same speechwriter types, you know, reading off the teleprompter. People like, I liked Obama's speech. I liked Mitt Romney's speech. They didn't write it. Okay, it's not what they really think. They're corporate pitchmen, frontmen, representatives, cults of personality. Bill Clinton was financed by the globalist, but he was a real CIA agent out of college with Hillary. He actually wrote most of his speeches. He actually called the shots because the globalists respected him that much, and he's that evil. Kennedy was a president who didn't go along with the globalists and tried to do his own stuff. They killed him. Reagan, who was an actor, actually was more of a president and made more decisions than Obama does or George W. Bush did. I mean, you need to understand, presidents today, Nixon ran the whole show. And the elite didn't like that, even though he was their guy. They got a little jealous of that because he did what he wanted. We don't have presidents anymore in this country, okay? Jimmy Carter, bumbling puppet, who they shut up. George Bush Sr., total globalist, you know, front man of the globalists, but making some of the decisions. Now, though, under the last few presidents, total, absolute teleprompterville. So we're going to continue breaking this down and then get into the big news, which I don't want this to be a distraction. Not just the Middle East and the burning embassies and the American flags being pulled down. In Tunis, they pulled down the American flag. And a couple other places, they're pulling it down. Why is that a big deal? Here in America, the illegal aliens pulled down the American flag in San Francisco and in Tucson, Arizona, off the private businesses, off of public schools, off of, where else did they do it? Off of post offices. There's video and photos. And it's like, oh, how cute. American school kids in San Francisco, Hispanic Americans can't wear American flags. They're told, take it off. It's upsetting to the illegal aliens who are so nationalistic from Mexico and say, hey, California was Mexico. You take that shirt off in Mexico because the Southwest, for all intents and purposes, is Mexico. And the globalists run the whole show. They run Mexico, and Mexico runs the Southwest. And they run the narcotics, and they run it all. And the government wants to destabilize it further and spread that bedlam to the United States as a false flag to take our guns. And even though they got caught, the ATF's trying to restrict semi-autos and things by regulation, not by law right now, citing Southwest bedlam and heads being dumped out every day on the U.S.-Mexico border. So I got to give my guns up because you narcotics trafficking megabanks who said in the SPP rebuilding your whole New World Order system that you'd use border crises to establish your North American Union. All right, I'm ranting. Now, the big news that I'm going to cover at the bottom of the hour, the big enchilada, is that on Monday, we had Ted Anderson on about this, they announced, we're not going to call it QE3, it's going to be called continued easing. And I called Paul Watson this morning on the phone together. We sketched out an article. We collaborate a lot. And because I was upset because no one got what was happening with the quantitative easing. They're like, oh, $40 billion a month in stimulus for the American people. No, that's not what's going on. So Paul has the article coming out. But right before I went on air, Washington's blog, the great writer over there, the great researcher, they got it. So that article's already up at Infowars.com. Is Paul Watson's article up yet? Because he said it would have already been up. And it's a maximum issue that I get that article that I helped write this morning. He's polishing it up and adding links to it. Come out. But in the time being, before we get into this, it's up at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. As predicted, Bernanke launches QE3 to help big banks, which will destroy the economy. That money goes to buy derivatives. It goes to buy worthless, counterfeit mortgage derivatives that have been sold in some cases more than 50 times. Counterfeit crud, and the media spins it like they're helping the economy. That's why this inflation hasn't been as intense as it should have been with tens of trillions of money being printed and issued, because it only goes to mega rich. That's why the only real hardcore hyperinflation you see is in palaces, mansions, yachts, $100,000 watches, $500,000 cars. Folks, there is inflation of close to 100% a year in luxury items. It's booming. While your favorite restaurant shuts down and the textile plant shuts down and the machine shop shuts down and the steel mill shuts down and the grocery store shuts down, while the service industries even shut down and things are boarded up all over the country, you go to the luxury area, baby, it is more expensive than ever. Steaks are $100. At the restaurant, they were $50 the year before. Okay? Because that's where it's all going, is to Wall Street. That's not free market. But it is a criminal, I'm not saying the entire Wall Street, but the mega banks at the top, and they're shutting down the rest of Wall Street as well. It's a total takeover by design. And we're going to be breaking that down. Yeah, there it is. Our article just went live at PrisonPlanet.com and Infowars.com. Great job, crew, getting that as soon as it came out. New banker bailout disguised as QE3. Latest move represents huge transfer of wealth from the middle class to the elite. Started writing this at 8 a.m. with Paul Watson. He got it all polished and put together. There it is. Maximum push. Get that out to everybody. Bottom of the hour, we're going to cover it. Now, we're going to break here in a minute. We've got Melissa Melton and John Bow on the street down at the edge of UT where everyone's been pushed back. What is the what is it looking like? I've been watching local news, and the people are really getting into the fear and the hysteria. What's going on down there? Infowars.com reporter Melissa Melton.
Droves of students have been evacuated. We've talked to a few of them. The sense that we're getting is that a lot of students thought this was a drill because apparently they've been doing a lot of these drills lately. So when the sirens first went off, everybody just kind of sat there because they thought it was just a drill. It wasn't until later when they started sending mass texts telling everybody to get off immediately that the fear kind of really set in. And everyone we talked to is pretty afraid.
Stay there. We'll be back and hear exactly what's happening. Our reporters are saying it looks like it can be connected to a drill. Yeah, I mean, look, they got this video out to hype up the Muslims to go crazy. You've got all the troops massing. I told you October surprise could be a big Middle East conflict. We'll be back. Alex Jones here with a message that could revolutionize health in this country. Going back about a year and a half ago, I began to learn about the incredible health effects of longevity products. Aaron Dykes lost 92 pounds. We're going to show you some before and afters. Aaron, break down what happened, your story.
I've worked really hard with diet and exercise to try to lose weight, but I just didn't get the results. It just didn't happen. Then I saw what you were doing with InfoWarsTeam.com. I wasn't even trying to lose weight, but I got it because I wanted to feel better energy. I wanted that nutrition. Didn't even understand how that could kickstart my own weight loss goals, but the products did that for me. I found myself suddenly losing weight, more energetic, wanting to exercise, wanting to eat the right foods.
And they don't even advertise it as weight loss. I want to challenge our radio listeners to go to InfoWarsTeam.com, sign up as a distributor, and get wholesale pricing discounts at InfoWarsTeam.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to talk about World War III being geared up. We're not talking about any of that. No, Al-Qaeda, because the guy had an Arabic-sounding voice. I am going to bomb you. Give up all your liberties. The men in black ski masks will stick hands down your pants, keep you safe. Al-Qaeda scary, huh? Al-Qaeda work with Tea Party, Homeland Security say. I mean, it's just all ridiculous power grab. Was it some crazy person calling in? Who knows? But now they have evacuated the J.J. Pickle Center. We're going to get an article up at Infowars.com in the next 10 minutes on this, which has a nuclear reactor at it. So now they've got this big, giant base with fences all around it, and they've got to evacuate that closed campus now because of supposed bombs. Breaking news, UT J.J. Pickle facility also evacuated. But the real headline is nuclear reactor evacuated. We take you now to Melissa Melton, Infowars.com reporter on the street. Melissa, recap what you were trying to say earlier.
We met up with a bunch of students as the evacuation was getting into full swing, and from those that we talked to, it seems that a lot of people didn't take this seriously because they thought it was a drill. According to almost every student we spoke to, there have been a lot of drills going on with this same scenario lately. And so when the alarms started to go off, people didn't take it seriously because they thought it was just another drill. And it wasn't until later when the campus started sending out mass texts saying to get off of campus immediately that people started to get scared and really file out quick.
So, I mean, I've noticed that. So it was kind of fun to get scared? Was it kind of like a carnival atmosphere?
A little bit, yeah. We got that sense. But they just kept saying over and over, there was been so many drills lately, we didn't know what was real and what wasn't.
Oh, so they've been saying there's been an increase in drills.
Yes. In this same scenario recently.
Expanding on this, there's also, of course, the threat at the North Dakota campus. It's been cleared. We've now confirmed what you told us about 10 minutes ago off air, that the nuclear reactor in North Austin that UT runs, along with their rail guns and particle beam weapon system, that whole campus has been evacuated as well. That's a closed campus. I don't see the point in doing that. Maybe they should shut down all the other UT campuses across Texas.
Maybe they should. Actually, there's a bunch of students milling around down here. We're driving through right now. We're in the heart of campus, and if this is really serious and it's a big deal, these people shouldn't all still be here. So there's tons of students just standing around. They're like, they're not sure what to do.
Well, some of the reports I saw were that it was going to be in 90 minutes after the call. That was an hour and almost an hour and a half ago. In fact, it'll be an hour and a half in 1 minute. So supposedly, aren't the bombs supposed to go off in about 60 seconds, Melissa?
Basically, yes. We just passed a huge group of what looked like transportation workers or construction workers just all standing around, too. So unless somebody knows something we don't, apparently, yeah, we're about to all get blown up, but nobody seems to care.
Well, I'm sure TSA will keep us safe. They're now all over Texas streets sticking their hands down people's bags. Soon it'll be down their pants. Would you feel safer, guys, if you had some TSA there?
I wish the TSA was here, don't you, John?
Oh, yeah, that would be a big help. Yeah, and you know, Alex, you there? It's John.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you remember last year when that shooter went inside the building here? It looked like the Colorado shooting, like a pre-Colorado shooting.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was they were ready for drills on that as well. So I think what we're seeing is completely staged. Everyone seems to.
That's right. They had drills right before the guy went in and shot himself. And then they also, you're saying people said that there were a bunch of drills right before this. What did they specifically say?
They just said that they were ready for evacuation drills, and that they didn't even believe this was real because they've been given so many drills at this point. So people aren't surprised here. They're getting used to the fear that.
Well, that's what you go to college for now. I mean, there's not going to be any jobs with those degrees. You go there to learn how to spy on people, how to be spied on, how to be forced to take inoculations, and how to basically get cancer and die.
Everything we said came true. Everything we've done's been right.
John Bound and Melissa Melton at the big downtown Maine UT Command Center campus. It's really just a hedge fund for foreign banks. The university is a small part of its business. It owns media empires, sports teams, bioweapons facilities, bioweapons companies. They've got a Bevo, football team, so people feel like they're part of something when they go get a degree that, in about 90% of the cases, will be absolutely useless for them. Most of my family went to UT. I'm not attacking University of Texas. It's just not a university anymore. It's a brainwashing facility that engages in a lot of weapons development. And they've got rail guns, particle beam guns that are public, and multiple nuclear reactors still going. They've got one under UT downtown and a big one up north, one of the biggest research reactors in the country. They've evacuated the nuclear reactor. So just know that, because somebody called in and said, I have put the bombs in your mailboxes. All of this right as they want to attack the Middle East, right as this video comes out to get everybody angry. It's probably staged, or it could be somebody who's actually mad and making threats, or it could be somebody that wanted to get out of taking tests today, or it could just be some troublemaker. I mean, we don't know. The point is that we have our reporters there, and then I get into the big news of the day, the quantitative easing and what's happening in the Middle East. I had a Ben Swan. You've seen that Fox News reporter that's making so many waves, I think better than national Fox News. He's the newest member of Fox 19 News team, and he's been there a couple of years, I guess, and he's in all these reports on did the RNC script rule changes at the start of a civil war in the Republican Party. He's the guy last week that got to talk to Obama about the NDAA. He's the guy that questioned what happened there in Colorado. And I said, you know what? I've just got a feeling that guy's a listener. We need to get him on. And, of course, he is a listener of the show. And so he's going to be popping in during some of the next hour. And we're maybe going to play a few short clips of some of his reports. Pretty amazing stuff. That's a real reporter right there asking serious questions. And it's not just that he asks good questions. I mean, it looks like something you'd see on national TV, except they don't cover stuff like that on national TV. But he's getting a national following out there. So he's going to be popping in with us in the next hour, even though it's a busy news day for him. And in a moment, we're going to get to new banker bailout disguised as QE3. That's our top story today. It is so important that everybody get this out to everyone they know if we're ever going to stop this madness. But first, going back to John Bound and and Melissa Melton. Guys, are you there with us in downtown Austin at UT?
Oh, yeah. We've actually moved positions. We're closer to the heart of the campus, and there are a lot more students out here evacuated. We got more news crews over here, and I guess we're about 5 minutes away from what the bombers said the bomb would go off. So we're just going to wait on that. We're going to get some replies from the public.
Well, there's varying stories, but the AP and Huffington Post reporting the call was at 8:35 a.m. Central. Then they said that it was past 9 o'clock. So we're 2 hours actually past this. But I mean, who knows? They may shut it for weeks because it teaches everyone proper fear. And again, I mean, I can play a clip of that. What's the name of that guy that has the puppet that says, "I will kill you"? It's, you know, the dead terrorist. What's the name of that guy?
I can't remember that guy's name.
Come on, we all know the name. What's the name of the guy that has the puppet, the Habib, the dead terrorist, or whatever it is?
Oh, he won on that show on TV, the America's Got Talent or something.
Yeah, what's his name again? You got Jeff Dunham. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine 310 million Americans running off the edge of a cliff, just in fear, with their eyes wide, slobber coming out their mouths, screaming, stumbling, breaking each other's necks, running over each other, piling off the edge of a cliff, right into the hands of J.P. Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, New World Order, in fear of a 1 foot tall Habib the dead terrorist going, "I will kill you." I mean,
I wonder how much money these drills cost to do, and, you know, they're making sure this one's successful, you know, and it's not a success. These people are walking around scratching their heads, you know. Some people are scared. Some people are just so completely desensitized by what they've done with these drills over and over and over again that it's just a big sham.
John, you noticed that in the months before 9/11, they had more than 10 bomb threats and cleared the North and South Towers in Lower Manhattan. You know that. But then on the day, they had loudspeakers saying, "Stay at your desk, everything's fine," when jetliners had hit the buildings. What do you think was going on there?
Pre-planned. Well, I mean, who's ready to say, stay at your desk? Who's got that all written down and ready to go?
And by the way, that was confirmed. That went on. And some people said, well, some authority over a loudspeaker, you know, airplanes have crashed into buildings. You know, there's fires everywhere. They're saying, "Stay at my desk." So I think I will. I think I will.
From the Colorado shooting where apparently there was something going on over the loudspeaker there, too. You know?
Well, I mean, sure, Operation Northwoods calls for shooting U.S. citizens on the streets and in movie theaters and stuff. But and sure, Operation Gladio Declassified, they shot up movie theaters and stuff to take people's rights in Europe. But you know what? They wouldn't do that now. I mean, sure, they'd take 4,000 plus foster kids in the U.S. and radiate them to death and shoot little kids up with syphilis and nerve gas our own troops by the thousands in Project Shad. But you know what? They wouldn't stage a bomb threat, John. Good people run our government, John.
Yeah, I'm, reporting here from the experimental madhouse they call the University of Texas, funded by globalist madmen. This is basically a foreign entity, and they're running a drill today from their entity here in the United States. And we're getting so desensitized from all this. We need to just turn the machine around and get rid of these people because this is too obvious.
I'm convinced that if giant flying saucers landed from Mars, like War of the Worlds, and had telescoping, tripod legs and were laser beaming people, as long as there was a Bevo or your favorite local sports icon on the side, the UT Longhorn symbol, people would walk out with their children and say, "Vaporize me," and it would just fire and destroy them. And they would just...
Well, if Al-Qaeda was smart, they would blow up Bevo. I know it's blasphemous around here, but...
oh, my gosh. Well, the CIA, don't give them ideas. Al-Qaeda... don't give them, but their Al-Qaeda is busy with NATO aircraft, NATO helicopters landing them there in Turkey and in Jordan to go in and murder the Christians and Jews and people. But Al-Qaeda's dangerous though, because they just threatened UT though, John.
Yeah, and that, now the CIA is getting into the movie business with that Muhammad movie. Maybe they'll have a sequel to that where they blow up Bevo.
Well, it's not like, John. Don't start a rumor. People will be body shields, Here, take my wife, guard Bevo, Yeah. I mean, in fact, don't give them ideas. They may say we've got to throw our children into meat grinders because Bevo has to walk across a red carpet of ground up children because he's so. I mean, it's the golden calf.
Yep, and he's delicious.
All right, listen, John. I know we're joking around John, you should take this more serious. Why, these bombs were supposed to have gone off, depending on some reports, an hour ago.
Yeah,
you need to be more afraid. I mean, even though you've got a better chance of being struck twice in a year by lightning than dying from a bomb in the United States, is all these movies. The Joker was blowing up universities and stuff and hospitals. I mean, it's real. I mean, we need TSA. They're now saying at every movie theater, people are suing the movie theater, demanding grope downs at the theater, even though the guy came through the back door reportedly and somebody let him in. But never mind that. I mean, you should get more into the fear, John.
Yeah, I guess I missed the boat on that one because I'm actually a lot more afraid of the stupidity of the public.
Well, I'm afraid of the big, giant, out-of-control government buying 1.4 billion bullets and buying armored mobile giant tanks and helicopters and drones and in their own training manuals saying that they're preparing to take on the American people. I mean,
but that's okay, Alex. That's okay. That's great. That's freedom. That's freedom fries, Alex.
Well, I tell you, John, any other tidbits you'd like to have before I have Melissa Melton say some final words from the fear gripping Austin right now from the bombs that, depending on the report, would have gone off an hour ago or 15 minutes ago. But who knows? I mean, those bombs could be there in 100 years. We should evacuate like a neutron bomb hit Austin, all of UT, forever, because a guy with a Middle Eastern sounding voice called up and said, I have put the bombs in the mailboxes, American pig.
Well, they got to pay these police to do something out here, and then there's a lot of unmarked cars.
Good.
And those got to be paid for, too, and they've got to have something to do. So,
other than writing tickets, you mean?
Yeah, instead of writing tickets, generating more revenue for the city. But
let me get some final comments from Melissa Melton before I get to our top story that we can't cover because of the bomb threats. Go ahead, Melissa. Yes, are you scared right now?
I'm absolutely terrified right now. I really wish the TSA was here to rope me down and make sure that I'm not covered in bombs.
Well, you might actually be the person that did it all.
We were headed here for another interview, and then this suddenly happened. So, possible. Everyone else doesn't seem to be afraid at all, though. They're just
I forgot that. You're down there. You're down there to interview the UT professor. Well, actually, I don't want to give it away. Have you gotten that interview yet, or this already happened?
Don't give it away. We were about to do that. We were headed here for that purpose, and then we couldn't even get on campus because they were closing off streets. And so I'm going to try and get it after this, but might have to postpone it. I don't know. He might be really afraid because he might be scared he's going to blow up. So.
Any other points, Melissa?
I just think it's really sad. It's a sad testament to see how far we've fallen, that all of these people are just milling around. They don't seem to even care. I mean, the few students that I talked to were afraid, but it was only way after the fact. They were just so desensitized by all the drills and all the things that have been going on that they just kind of walking around like, oh, okay, we'll get blown up. That's fine. I don't care. It's very sad.
Well, just thank goodness Homeland Security's there to keep us safe and ship guns into Mexico and fund al-Qaeda and give them 10,000 missiles in Libya. And again, we've got to give our rights up. I mean, al-Qaeda is so evil and deadly that our government runs it publicly. They're
everywhere. They're everywhere. So we need to be safe.
Well, all right. Well, thank you for your courage, because I was like, how are they already down there when I got here to the office? And then they're like, oh, they were down there doing an interview, and I'd forgotten you were going down to interview the professor who, well, let's just say has some interesting statements. So I look forward to having that information. Thank you, Melissa.
Definitely. Thank you.
Call back into the hotline if anything else develops down there at UT. Gripped now for 2.5 hours in just total fear. City shut down. Nuclear reactor on a closed campus evacuated. I mean, end of the world stuff. Somebody called up with a scary Middle Eastern accent. Man, that's That could be a new weapons system, just where drones fly around with people, with daily calls to prayer, and everyone would just fall over dead. All right, let's shift gears to the real news. Okay, I've got articles here with press conferences by top scientists where new GMO crops hitting store shelves are linked to reprogramming your organs to turn off. But hey, that'll make more money for the hospitals. Nobody noticed pediatric cancer's up by 10,000%. Nobody noticed other cancers up by 3,000%. Sheryl Crow, I mean, got a brain tumor after breast cancer. It's kind of like getting a cold now to get brain cancer. So everything's fine. Let's not worry about all that. Let's not worry about QE3 or QE Unlimited, the QE Big Gulp, Big Bite. And first it was QE1, QE2, and we promised never QE3. See, we told you we keep our promise. It's going to be called unlimited, continual. We're going to be breaking that down ahead of our guest joining us in the second segment of the next hour. But this article is big medicine up at Infowars.com. You might want to Twitter this out. In fact, we'll send it out on The Real Alex Jones at Twitter. You might want to retweet this. You might want to put it on your Facebook. You might want to get it out to your family so they know that when they hear, oh, the government's doing some stimulus for you. This is another banker bailout on what? What did even CNN report? In fact, guys, I am that to you. But I want to just show people CNN itself admitting it. We have the Fed's statement linked here in the article. $40 billion a month, and there's going to be some other ones they're going to do to buy securitized derivatives mortgage instruments. A whole spectrum of them. $40 billion a month to buy the fraudulent crud. And you know the Federal Reserve, with all the quantitative easing they do to the banks, which is just a tax to them, a payoff, not even a bailout, you get to pay it back in taxes. And they're going to squeeze it out of you. In federal, state, property taxes, it all gets tickets, the cops write you, that money all gets fenced back through. City budgets and the rest of it, it all goes to the offshore banks. And the media will tell you it's your debt. There it is. The policy known as quantitative easing, and often abbreviated to QE3, entails buying $40 billion in mortgage-backed securities each month. The end date remains up in the air as the Fed will reevaluate the strength of the economy in coming months. Folks, they're shutting down the real economy. The big banks on record will not loan. Will not loan. Say that again. Will not loan. Since they've gotten 40-something trillion dollars one way or another, it wasn't 870 billion, folks. Tens of trillions of dollars they've leveraged. They've put it into more derivatives, more crud, had cities, counties, pension funds, government minions invest everything in it so that our whole world is tied to a black hole of fraud. While they demonize lemonade stands and the Amish, trying to and pass all these regulations to shut down family farms and pay to ship our jobs overseas and have tax incentives to ship them overseas. That's the grand plan. And then the big banks, what did they do? Oh, we're going to give them trillions to loan to get the economy going. That'd be bad enough, but at least it would get the economy going, even if it inflated the currency some. Instead, they're devaluing the currency while, so you're getting double whammy. You're not getting the extra money, but it does devalue the currency. So things do go up in price, but not as much. Only in luxury items, yachts, $500,000 cars, palaces, mansions, penthouses. That is seeing some of the greatest inflation ever because the money all goes to them, and you're going to pay it off in taxes. And that's why they're getting 1.4 billion bullets and giant black tanks and turning the general cops all into SWAT teams because they're getting ready to stomp your guts out. They're going to take everything you got and shut your town down with Agenda 21. Ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds?